suggested that we go individual units and lower the coverage to keep price per acre relatively close. It's been great for our operation.
Customize your crop insurance coverage at farmcreditil.com/crop insurance.
You're finding Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the Zoom today, Ed Shimon, National Weather Service in Lincoln. Good morning, Ed. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, Seth.
Sure. Thanks for making time for us. You're lucky I'm not a Bears fan, Ed, or I'd be giving you a lot of grief this morning.
I know my Packers just found a way to lose that game in painful fashion. So yeah, it was tough.
Well, we'll just move right along today and not. So, you know what, Ed? You've got the holidays coming up. You've got family coming to town. You got good stuff to look forward to. And it sounds like, I mean, my goodness, if that kitchen gets a little warm for those preparing that holiday meal, they might be able to just open up the windows. It's going to warm up, my friend.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing spring-like temperatures for Christmas, which is, it'll be near record high temperature territory. So, unusually warm for sure for that Christmas day.
Yeah, let's go through the day by day for this week, Ed. Because folks probably traveling at various points. So what are we going to be dealing with here as we, start today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? What do we got for this day by day forecast?
Sure. Yeah, we've got today is going to be, seasonably mild. We're in the 40s, southerly winds. Nice day actually. Not too bad at all. And then once we get towards Christmas, there's a little bit of a warm front coming in Christmas Eve. Few showers, real light sprinkles. I mean, nothing impactful is potentially going to be hitting us there as we head into Christmas Eve day. But like each day is going to get warmer. 46 today, 53 on the 23rd. Christmas Eve day looks like we're going to top out right around 55. And oddly enough, that high is going to be in the evening, and then we're going to stay at 54, 55 all night long with southerly winds into Christmas morning. So Santa's sleigh is going to need some roller wheels instead of just the regular blades on there, because and then we warm up all the way to the mid 60s on Christmas Day, which is record high temperature territory. But just a few sprinkles Christmas Eve evening. If you're going to activity, you may have few raindrops hit your windshield, but I don't know if the amounts are really minimal. Yeah, not even a couple of hundreds probably. So it may just be sprinkles there. So, but otherwise, unbelievably warm day for Christmas. Normally that means severe weather, and we're still monitoring. If a few showers are showing up in East Central Illinois, just east of DeWitt County, but if the models start showing a little more energy on that day, then could be a few storms. But right now it's just looking like pretty quiet overall when you have that much heat, and the moisture at the surface will be there, but the mid levels are just bone dry. So it's just not able to generate any significant precipitation out of this very, very warm area.
Sure. Very good. So to that end, Ed, what is going on? Why are we seeing such warm and mild weather this time of the year?
Yeah, there's somewhat of a summer-like heat dome that's building out west, and we're just seeing, the winter jet stream kind of oscillates across Canada, and there'll be a dip over the Great Lakes, but that means there's warm air coming out of the plains, and it's able to pull that warm air all the way into Illinois this time, because that low cold air is kind of shifting east toward the East Coast and the eastern Great Lakes. And what's going to fill it? Well, what's west of us, and that's that heat dome. So we are just able to, benefit somewhat from that heat dome that's going to just slide east a little bit, and oddly enough, not going to bring a lot of storms with it as it clears out of here. So.
Well, remind us, what is a traditional Christmas Day weather forecast look like in terms of highs and lows, and do we see snow on Christmas? How about some of those things?
Sure, yeah. The normal high is 37. The normal low is 21. So you're heading into the winter where you're always below freezing at night, and during the day, snowfall. It's on that day averages about 2/10 of an inch of snowfall. So like in December, each day is averaging a couple tenths of an inch of snow. But by that time in the month, we normally would see about 3.7, almost 4 inches of snow, which we've gotten. But since then, we've had rain, a bunch of rain on Thursday last week. So that just melted just about everything except piles. And now we're dealing with a green Christmas. Well, brown Christmas.
I noticed my grass is green, Ed. It's not it's not like it's not growing green, but it's not, dead brown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I was taking notice of that yesterday, actually. But at any rate, Ed Shimon, National Weather Service in Lincoln, my guest on the Zoom this morning. Ed, let's dive into, then we get into, for folks this week, there's some tournaments that begin today and tomorrow, but a lot of tournaments begin on Friday into Saturday, and then, a couple days into next week. So, if you're traveling for basketball or you're traveling just for, coming home from Christmas plans, let's get into the weekend weather forecast. What's this weekend have in store?
Sure. Yeah. As we head into the weekend, Friday looks actually pretty sunny and 62. So 65 Christmas. Then we cool off to 62 on Friday. Saturday, the clouds move in. So there's a little bit of, potential for some light precipitation there. Right now, we're not showing it. It's not 20% or higher. So it's really not ending up in the forecast. But, we cool down to 58 Saturday. And then we have the cold front finally coming through. Saturday night, we're showing, chance of rain. 50% chance there. And so we're going to get some rainfall there. But we're also cooling down below freezing late that night. So we'll have to see if any of that maybe falls as freezing rain, but we're going to be so warm ahead of that the ground isn't going to be frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So, it'll just collect on maybe some higher tree branches that cool to the freezing level. So that won't be anything impactful there. And then Sunday, cooler, 39. So just slightly above normal there. We average around, 36, 37 at that time of the year on Sunday. So cooling off for the last half of the weekend, but really not too bad.
Sure. So as that we get into the New Year's holiday, what are the outlooks telling us for that week? It looks like maybe things cool back off. What's going on? Let's say 29 through January, I don't know, 3, 4, 5-ish. Do we have an outlook for those time frames, Ed?
We do, and it's warmer than normal temperatures, and not just a little, but a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth tier. So it's the 60th to 70th percent chance that temperatures are going to be above normal, and normals are upper 30s. So, or maybe actually middle 30s by then. But that strong of a heat, the heat dome isn't leaving this is through January 4th. So at least in the early part of that for sure. And then precipitation-wise, above normal precipitation, not excessively above normal. They were only in up to the 40th percent chance of above normal precipitation, but still, it's basically above normal precipitation from Ohio to Louisiana and west, all the way to the West Coast.
Okay.
There's a lot of moisture in the area. A few showers are going to be probably producing some rain. Not a lot of wintry precip at this point. I went through the model all the way out through 10 days, and I wasn't seeing anything wintry in Illinois. It's all rain.
All right.
Between here and early January.
So we looking warm and wet then for next week? Is that what it's telling me? The weather app I use is completely off then.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of signals to put those chances of rain up to like 50, 60% right now, but there's going to be some shower activity, rains moving through during that time frame. Yeah, December 29th, January 4th.
Yep. What about severe weather in that time frame, Ed?
Yeah, actually, I was just mentioning that to one of the meteorologists. January 1st, it's looking like thunderstorms. That's this current morning model run for the American model. And then I look back at the previous run and the previous run. There's a low pressure in the area around January 1st right now where it is in the timing. So the 1st or 2nd of January looks like more of the solutions than not have a low pressure nearby and maybe some storms, as we start off the new year. And actually, I think it was about 5 years ago, we were in tornado watch number 1 on January 3rd. And we had more tornadoes that day than we had the previous year in central Illinois. So,
wow.
It's not out of the norm lately that tornadoes occur in January. So I'm not saying we're going to get tornadoes on January 1st or 2nd, but whenever I see warm air, moisture, then a cold front comes blasting through, you always take pause as a meteorologist this time of year when the warm air makes it all the way into Illinois, because we are just tornado haven. It seems like lately.
Yeah. So that warm air then, Ed, it sounds like is going to kind of, that heat dome you're talking about is going to stick around for a little bit.
It is, yeah. And then even a 3 to 4 week, January 3rd through the 16th, above normal temperatures. So if we're going to have cooler than normal, overall winter, that's going to have to hit in February or later January.
Yeah.
Maybe the last half of January, things will start to, stabilize. But I'm wondering how bad early February is going to be, and maybe late January at this point. Because
sure.
Any precipitation through the first week of January is probably going to tip the balance toward rain instead of snow.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. On that note, Ed, I'll tell you what, let's break and come back, talk about the moisture levels from December so far. It's been we've had some real beneficial snow and rain. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. In the meantime, where do folks find that forecast for their holiday plans?
Weather.gov/Lincoln.
Ed Shimon, National Weather Service in Lincoln, our guest on the Zoom. More to come with Ed on the morning show.
WHOW.
Extra model year savings are available. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. Yes, we have 2025 Silverados with extra savings as well as a few other models now. See our 2026 Silverados in regular cabs, double cabs, and crew cabs in gas or diesel. We also have a good selection of the all-new redesigned Chevrolet Traverse. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. See all our inventory at BaumChevyBuick.com right from the start.
In today's digital world, one medium stands out for reaching America's farmers and ranchers: Ag Radio. Farm broadcasters connect agricultural advertisers with the most trusted voices in rural America. While farmers may scroll past online ads or skip television commercials, they actively listen to farm broadcasters for weather updates, market reports, and agricultural news that impacts their livelihood. Ag Radio reaches farmers where they work, in combines, tractors, barns, and trucks across rural America. These aren't just radio personalities, they're trusted advisors who've built relationships with agricultural communities for generations. Data from the National Association of Farm Broadcasting shows that 80% of farmers rely on Ag Radio as a primary information source during planting and harvest seasons, exactly when your agricultural product or service needs to be top of mind. Ready to put the power of farm broadcasting to work for your brand? Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com and connect with the voices that farmers trust most.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the Zoom today is Ed Shimon, National Weather Service in Lincoln. Ed, let's dive into it. Has been a wet December between all the snow that has melted now and the rain we got last week. Where do we stand as we look to replenish those drought conditions that we're setting up for much of central Illinois? What do you know?
Right. Yeah, we've had a lot of wintry precipitation this month. Actually, I just loaded up, the percent above normal that we are, and it's about 500% of normal for snowfall so far. This, some areas actually have gotten their annual total snowfall already in central and southern Illinois. For DeWitt County, we average around 25 inches of snow a year, and Lincoln as well. But we're well along the way to getting that. But further south, they only average about 6 to 7 inches of snow. So
6, 7.
It doesn't take much. Yeah. So, but as far as moisture, though, we really actually overall we're a little below normal with how much water hit the ground. 1.4 inches of precipitation in that snow. So we're slightly below normal. We're like 0.14 inches of moisture below normal right now. But the snowfall pegged the meters there, off the charts really, with that early snowfall, the 29th last month, and then of course, the bigger snows that we had over the 13th weekend there.
So folks probably hear all this snow we've gotten in December, and they think, oh, so all of that, 10 inches or whatever it is, snowfall moisture is in the ground. We got 10 inches of moisture in there. That's right, Corsad, correct?
No. Yeah, it's just the amount of water that was in it. We had a really fluffy snow on the 13th. I mean, we had a lot of snow, but it was 20-1, even fluffier than that. 20-1 means 20 inches of snow to 1 inch of water, and that's pretty fluffy. Normally we're around 12-1, 12 inches of snow to 1 inch of water. So we didn't have a lot of water, but we did have about 3 to 4 tenths of an inch of rain that fell on top of that last Thursday. And so that helps. And the frost depth went away. We had a little bit of frost depth because we had a really, really cold snap just before or just after that snow fell. But it really didn't stop that water from seeping in. We really saw a lot of it, provide a beneficial response to our drought here. So it is helping. It's not a lot, but it's certainly better than having a frozen ground and the water just flow into the stream.
Yeah, well, and it had been so cold. Was the ground frozen to not take in some of that?
There was about 2 to 3 inches of frost depth we had right after that snow fell last Saturday. But it went away enough by Thursday's rains that it soaked into the ground. It didn't run off. That's what we're seeing in the response because we have soil moisture sensors across Illinois. The University of Illinois has them, and we monitor those. And the 4-inch level, it did spike up. Even the 8-inch is starting to show some rise. So this soaked in, and it's helping a little bit to keep the drought from really going off the charts.
Gotcha. And maybe some rain next week will be of benefit to this situation.
Yeah, we have no frost depth right now. But oddly enough, when I look at the temperatures for the month, we're 10 degrees below normal, which is
really
number 6 overall coldest Decembers on record, back to 1889.
How much does the next week and a half?
Place coldest Decembers.
Yeah, well, and how much does the next week and a half play into where we go with this, Ed?
Yeah, that's gonna take us out of the top 10 coldest Decembers for sure, because we're gonna be above normal. I think every day. The rest of the month, the average temperature for the 24-hour period is going to be above normal, clear through the rest of the month. So.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, on that note, it sounds like drought is easing. Any indication how much rain or moisture we're going to need the rest of the winter to, be set up for when planting season comes around in the spring?
We would need to be, getting 5 inches of moisture every month, because that'll put us about 1.5 to 2 inches above normal. We would need an extra 2 inches of precip at least every month to even think of getting rid of, because right now DeWitt is in the D2 severe drought, and to really get rid of that, you've got to have replenishing rains all the way into the 8-inch, even to the 20-inch depths. So it's going to take a lot, but we may be able to take a bite out of that. And even the outlook from the Climate Prediction Center and the drought monitor showed drought improvement expected this winter through February. December, January, February, drought improvement expected. So, the above normal precip, it's going to help a little. We should be able to see the spring planting season have some beneficial moisture in the topsoils, hopefully, as we head into April.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully we see some of that. Very good. Now, Ed, let's look at the, you mentioned kind of looking ahead, again, January, February, March. What are those 3-month outlooks telling us at this point?
Sure. Yeah. Now the January, February, March shows equal chances for above normal or below normal temperatures. But there's still that lurking cold air in the upper Midwest. They're below normal tendencies there for temperature. So cold air will be nearby, and that kind of tells me February, we would typically see the best chances of cold snaps are going to be late January, early February, and that probably is going to pan out. And then precipitation-wise shows above normal, 40 to 50% chance of above normal precip. So it's pretty strong signal, which we typically see in La Nina winters, that precipitation, a little bit more frequent storm tracks through the area. So, the wintry precip is not done. We may not have a white Christmas, but by the end of January, I think we're going to be seeing some impactful snows or wintry precipitation. Hopefully, not too much freezing rain. But,
Yeah, no.
you know.
Snow is fine. Freezing rain can stay wherever, but not here.
That's right.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, type of a thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ed, on that note, as we kind of wrap up here for today, obviously, we talked about, I know last time with the winter weather coming, always weather preparedness and all those things. Any campaigns the Weather Service is promoting or anything of that nature?
We're always trying to reinforce winter driving safety. Even if you don't have high temperatures during the day below freezing, those overnight lows dropping below, you can get slick spots. A lot of times this year we'll get black ice or even just ice forming from the exhaust of vehicles. I know the bridge over the river in Peoria, on the downside to hit into East Peoria, so many times you'll see a little bit of wetness on there. And then it's 20 degrees outside and you're like, what is that? Black ice can form in a short time in dry conditions typically. So just be wary. Wintertime lows below freezing, and you never know when it's going to get slippery. So just be on edge if you're driving early morning, heading to work and whatnot. Because if you have an accident, it can be a lot of injuries that happen in the winter.
Sure. We talked about the potential for storms next week, Ed. That probably brings up the reminder. Typically a spring, summertime reminder, but always be weather aware for any, storm systems that may roll through. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the showers that came through last Thursday had a lot of spin in them. And if we'd have had any instability, we would have had probably 10 to 15 tornadoes. It didn't happen because we didn't have the right atmospherics coming together, not enough instability. But the next system that comes through, that January 1st, 2nd, just keep an eye to the sky, weather aware, just as you said. And, we'll monitor it and give out our messaging if it's going to be severe weather or not. But, when it's this warm in winter in Illinois, severe weather is just not far away usually. So just be prepared.
Sure. Very good. Well, on that note, Ed, let's just revisit. I got about a minute and a half with you, sir. Let's revisit our holiday forecast. What are we looking at here for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day? Remind us what the outlooks tell us.
Sure. Yeah. Christmas Eve day, it'll be cloudy and we'll still be getting up into 55 for a high, but rain chances will start increasing in the afternoon. We've got 30 to 50% chance in there for some rain showers into the early evening on Christmas Eve day. So nothing real impactful, but mild, 55. And the overnight low will be 54. Heading into Christmas morning, as we peak out at 65, it'll probably still be cloudy, but no rain on Christmas Day at this point. A few showers might creep in the next day when we're at 62, the day after Christmas, but southerly winds through the whole thing. Really mild, actually a great time to actually spend a little outdoor time on Christmas. Don't say that very often.
No, very good. On that note, Ed, where do folks go to keep up with the latest in weather forecasts?
Weather.gov/Lincoln.
Very good. Ed, always good to talk to you, man. Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
See you. That's Ed Shimon, National Weather Service in Lincoln, my guest on the Zoom. Network news comes your way on the morning show, which streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way.
WHO